Now, for the sake of covering my basis about all types of traditional granny squares and how to go about making them, let's take a quick look at when you create a granny square by turning your work every round. And for the simplicity of this video, I'm going to just use one color of variegated yarn here. Of course, you can still change colors on every round, and when we get to the next round, I'll show you how to do that. So right here, I've already begun. I have my center circle, my center of my granny square. I'm ready for round 2, and similar to the fashion of how we had to slip stitch over to the next space to work the next granny cluster, we're going to do the same thing here, but we are going to rotate our work, so turn it around, and then slip stitch immediately into that chain 2 space corner. That brings your hook and yarn into the right position now to work round 2 in the opposite direction. So at this point, I will chain 2, and on this particular method, I'm only going to begin each round with half a corner. So I'm going to build 1 granny cluster. Now I have a side to jump over, so I'm going to chain 1 and jump to the next corner. My yarn is pulling on me today. There we go. And now I'm going to create this corner over here. Cluster, chain 2, and a cluster. Going to jump aside, chain 1. Right into the next corner with a cluster, chain 2, and cluster, jump another side, chain 1, work another corner. You're actually, in this method, you'll have every other round will be facing front, every other round will be backside showing, and it's pretty versatile. I mean, it looks pretty. It doesn't look like anything is backwards, or, you know, you could display your blanket or project from either side and it's going to look beautiful either way. Okay, so now I'm going to jump my last cluster, chain 1, and because I only began with half a corner, then I have to finish that corner by placing 1 more granny cluster in that chain 2 space corner of the previous round. Chain 2, and because I'm beginning with chain 2s at the beginning, I will slip stitch to the middle double crochet of that granny cluster and slip stitch to join the round. And there it is. So at this point, I want to begin round 3. I'm going to rotate my work around, slip stitch into that chain 2 corner space, and then chain 2, and build half of my corner to begin round 3. And then I would work all the way back around and join in the same fashion So go ahead and work your round 3 all the way around, and I will meet you at the end. So here I am. I'm back at the end of the round. I'm back at the beginning corner where I started the round. I need to jump this last granny cluster, so I chain 1. And now I will finish building this corner by placing the last granny cluster into the chain 2 space of the previous round, chaining 2, and slip stitching to the middle double crochet of that granny cluster. And there it is. And that is how you work a granny square, by rotating the work every round. Now, let's say I wanted to change colors by rotating every round. Then what I will do is I will bind off like that, keeping in the forefront of my mind what side I just finished. Okay, I just finished a front-facing round. So now what I need to do is rotate my work, okay, and then begin my new color in that same square where I bound off. So I finished on this side, I bound off, I rotated my work, I'm on the same corner, and I will slip stitch to begin the next round in the new color, like so. And then I will continue working in that same method all the way back around until that round is completed. Just remember that when you're doing this type of granny square and you're rotating your work every round, that you remember what side was facing up last, so you know you don't get mixed up and do 2 rounds front facing or 2 rounds back side facing. That's the only thing just to keep in mind. So thank you for watching the 3rd installment of Evolution of a Granny Square. Coming up next is how to make a granny triangle. So stay tuned for the triangle, the rectangle, the octagon, the hexagon, and many other fabulous granny squares made with granny clusters, but with a modern twist.